Hi, YouTube. I hope everybody's doing good. Happy Monday or Tuesday, wherever you're at. Um, I watched a pretty interesting video of a young man. Oh, I think he's probably 16 or 17 years old that spoke. He had 5 minutes to speak in front of his school board and was speaking about how this new really race wars that are being perpetuated in the schools, and race shouldn't even be talked about in school. Neither should gender or religion or none of that. That's my outlook on it, but I shared it in my community. uh I don't know the child's name. Well, you know he's still a child, but I don't know his name, but he was so well spoken, and he was telling that school board the reasons why, even though teachers will agree with him, they won't go against the system because they don't want to lose their jobs. And he had decided to give up walking down the aisle on his graduation, um, to go online learning through a Christian. I don't know if it's an academy, but it's a school system, a digital school system that isn't pushing any of these wars that they're trying to create within the system towards children to reformulate their way of thinking. So, and then I came across Pastor Robert Clancy had shared on my Facebook, had shared some of the World Summit meeting from last year when they met. It is an older video. There's this woman named, oh, now her name is like Pepin Ma Cuity, or you know what? Her name is so unusual, and I thought about writing it down, but I'm just going to share the link to the whole thing because they were talking about digital currency. Now, here's something that I want to investigate a little bit more. Maybe some of you have heard of this, but along with the digital currency she was calling for, and then to me, that just opens the door actually saying what they're going to do. They want to implement a digital constitution of human rights. We already have constitutions in our country, our laws that protect us from our government, and now they're going to use digital currency to change the wording and the way we can function within our own society. You can just about well imagine what those limited rights will be towards the people. You know, I can. I'm getting on here a little earlier than usual. We've got a storm coming in. It's already been raining, and it's supposed to be like sleet and snow mixed for about 3 days. I'm not sure if I'll be able to upload. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get online. Sometimes I'm able to get on YouTube, but it won't stream properly. And the same with my Facebook. Usually, when it's cloudy, my Facebook is the first one to go down. So if I'm not around for a day or two or three, then it is the weather. Otherwise, I will be here. So wish me luck. So, and I think I will be. There's usually breaks in the day when there's storms, you know, but I don't know for sure. It looks like, I thought from what it looked like on my weather report, that some of it might actually miss us than what they were saying. So maybe it won't be as bad as what they were saying. but I don't know. It's already about 40 degrees out today, and it's supposed to be for the next few days, but colder at night again. So I'm hoping the snow will melt off my roof sooner or later because I've got drips, and it's a health issue actually till we can get the rest of it fixed. So yeah. So wish me luck in all them areas. So anyway, I was rather disturbed, and I'm thinking about, well, what kind of rights could they take away because of the digital currency? Well, first off, of course, the right to deal with cash with other individuals on this planet. And there's certain things that I think should be illegal for the government to do anyway. Um, Here's a for instance. I'll give you some for instance. When you get an inheritance from your parents, if you were so lucky, or if I were to leave something to my children, the government shouldn't be able to tax my children on what I've already paid taxes on. That goes the same for when you buy a used car. Why should you have to pay the state taxes on something already that somebody else has already paid taxes on? When you go to purchase your tabs for your license plate, or if you have to buy a new license plate, you shouldn't ever have to buy another license plate, actually, and even tabs for that vehicle. Um, on a what is it, like every other year or something like that. There's certain things that these people rob us blind on every day, and people just overlook it. You know, in some states they tax you for food, in other states they don't, but food should never be taxed. Clothing is taxed, clothing should never be taxed. You know, gasoline, alcohol, cigarettes, yeah. Maybe not even gasoline, but you know, maybe you can think of other things like medicine. There should be no tax on medicine or vitamins or any kind of healthcare products at all. You know, they get taxes from people like us on our property for their school systems. I don't have any children in school. I barely even drive. Why would I want to pay taxes on a road I never use? You see where I'm going? But yet they're screaming when they drive their great big jets around for my carbon footprint to be lessened, and they want to track everything I do. If I make, I mean, what is it now? If you make over $600 a year or something, you have to claim it on your income tax. Well, there you go. Anything else, like if I trade, like one day my neighbor trades me coffee and I tell her, well, next week I'll give you $5 for the $2 worth of coffee you traded me today. That's none of the government's business. Then would my friend have to pay taxes on that extra money I gave her? If it was digital, she would be held accountable for that extra money for doing that favor to me, you know, that type of thing, you know. So, but I'm super, super curious about what type of Constitution of Human Rights. We've already got our Constitution, and they've already illegally stopped us from our First Amendment, freedom of speech, you know. And we all know that's true. We've been silenced. Yeah, if you've got something to say and it's important, like this is, most people won't even share it. Most people won't even see it. Most people won't even think that's an issue until your rights start getting taken away. What could some of them rights be? The right to raise your own children? Do you think that this could be a possibility within these human rights that they're going to try and push on everybody? Yes, that's a part of the situation. In fact, that is the biggest part of the situation. They're always trying to get at the children. And yes, the government wants to control your children, just like they came in and took all the Native American children and put them in schools and made them learn their religion and their language. They were perfectly fine and happy, not a warring society. And see, that's been perpetuated a lot, that the tribes fought against each other. No, the tribes, I have two different kinds of native in me. One native blood was here, the other native blood came in from Asia. That's the truth. And migrated up, you know. So, uh, anyway, getting back to the point, they were not warring nations for the most part until the settlers started pushing them towards each other and trying to run them off their own land. Then they became warring nations. Most of the Native American tribes that were closely related didn't fight with each other, they traded. And you can see their trading abilities throughout the Americas of the different, oh, like it wasn't just beads, it was things like tools and different, like furs or whatever, different things that people would need to survive, you know, uh, depending on where they lived. But I hear all these totally pasty looking people. No offense, my light colored friends. I'll, I'll, I was born blonde. My son's blonde. My father was blonde. My adoptive father was blonde. So I'm not getting down on your fair looks. I'm just telling you that predominantly the people that are that would say that the Native Americans fought each other are as white as toilet paper, unless it's colored toilet paper. Not to just I guess I could have just said paper. Yeah, there you go. You're as white as that piece of paper. Are the ones that have been saying, well, yeah, and the natives fought each other, and I just write back, you don't even know what you're talking about. You only know what you hear in the history books, which are lies. You know, they don't say, like these people stole those people's horses, and that was spurred on by different groups of white people, all kinds of, you know, selling the horses once they had implemented uh, alcohol and different things in our society, even drugs. If you look back, and it's been recorded from Egyptian times till now, we have never had clean societies that weren't drug filled. All of them. You can look at any culture anywhere, and they have some form of chemical that they've been under the influence of. Everywhere, all over the planet, you know? I mean, how many of you would think back in the 1920s that your great grandmother might have been in a heroin den or a opium den rather, you know, or heroin, you know. You don't think like that because, you know, or that our mothers were doing Valiums and cocaine and that type of thing. People don't, happy pills. Mommy had happy pills because she was depressed. No, I didn't, but I mean, I'm talking, you know, literally like in the 50s, these, they paint a pretty picture of this woman in a, say, like a, oh, like a floral house dress with pearls on and high heels, but yet she's popping Valiums before Daddy gets home from the office. So, excuse me a moment. And they put kids on tranquilizers and, you know, they call it other stuff, but I mean, they've been drugging us for hundreds and hundreds of years. Really, you know. Isn't that a trip when you think about it? So if you had a parent that was into drugs or something and it was more out there in the society and it seemed like something abnormal, or maybe you were a kid that most of the kids that you knew their parents weren't like that, they probably were. It's probably that they got their drugs in the doctor's office and our parents got them out on the street, you know, and that really is the truth of a lot of it. But yeah, a part of the agenda is making it so children can marry adults. I'm talking children. That's one of their key plans coming up here as soon as they can implement this crap. But the Talmudic rabbinical laws have already been signed into our government. Laws that were signed into our governments, calling you goyim, telling you you're less than their bloodline, and your cattle and your children belong to them too. You're a slave. A lot of people think, well, gee, and life goes on. Well, it's not going to go on for much longer in any form of comfort for anybody. If good men don't start standing up against this in a big way, it's going to be more hellacious. Okay, let's put it this way. Are you okay if you have a 5-year-old or a 5-year-old granddaughter or a grandson? Are you okay with somebody that thinks they have more authority above you taking your child and marrying it, whether it doesn't matter the sex, and doing whatever they want with that child for the rest of that child's life because you're not standing up for their rights right now because they're sneaking in new laws that have been written into our government already. People keep ignoring that part. I don't understand. I've shown them even when Trump was president. What the are 12 rabbis standing around President Trump signing laws in? And what is people like Governor or DeSantis, was he senator of Florida, doing over in Israel, signing papers pertaining to the people of the United States? Israel is not a part of our government. Well, they think they are, but that's my point. These things are serious, and it's getting more serious by the day, leaps and bounds, not years. They expect to implement digital currency within the next 2 years, full bore. That will go along with these new digital constitutional laws that they'll be sneaking in on us too. And I think you're going to be really shocked at what some of them laws are. and how you could be imprisoned if you don't obey them. You know, you might want to look up what digital constitutional laws might be implemented. I'm going to start looking into that deeper and give you as much information on it that I can find. But it does fall in line with the agendas they've already implemented on us. And, excuse me, like, let's see, there was something else to do with, oh, I have two different things going on in my mind right now. I need to separate it. Just a second. Keep them separated. Okay, just a sec. Um, oh, I'll get there. I just need to relax my mind a minute. Dang it. Oh, well, it happens. Um, well, I know it was something to do with the digital currency. Oh no, it wasn't. It was something to do. I was going to do that. I had that in my mind, but also how they're going to do like round two of the uh, sickness type thing. They're not done with us yet on that at all. That's they just gave us a little trial of what the big thing that they will do. You will see. I mean, I did see in my state. I saw the National Guard walking down the street and threatening people to stay in their homes. Yeah, I saw that in Minnesota. Can you imagine being out on your porch? This one woman was out in her backyard barbecuing with her family, and they came in her yard and told her to get in the house in her own yard. She wasn't out contaminating anybody, but yet that's what they did to her. That was the Army National Guard. Can you imagine people in riot gear marching down the street like that in force, enforcing you to stay in your home? That's going to happen. It already did here. I'm just saying in a bigger way, and it is not for your protection. It's for your submission to stop you right where you are from doing anything to help yourself. That is what they're doing right now. And people don't think it's suspicious that we trained in, I think it was 2013, on the east coast of the United States. Russian military and American military were training together, and the same thing with the Chinese and the American military doing training sessions together recently, you know. But yet on the news, you think that, oh, that's our enemy. No, that's the blueprint. I think a lot of us know that, but it is. That's how they want. In fact, I'm a firm believer that not everything that we see the Chinese government doing to their people, I don't see that as realistic as what they're portraying that to be. I think a lot of that is for show, and predominantly in the world, the Chinese people might have it a little better than the other people because although there are, if you don't, if you have any kind of faith in God, you are an enemy of the state. That's a fact, and you can't let that be known. You know, but we all know that there's people around the world that consider themselves Christians that are being persecuted just for their faith anyway. And a lot of people will have a tender heart and a good heart, and they won't call themselves Christians because of the examples of Christians that have been put out here for the longest time, you know. And people forget to remind people, hey, just tell God, I'm sorry, and don't do it again. He loves everybody. And even if you slip up, He's still going to love you. Always. If you're sorry and you're really sorry, He knows that. But people don't really tell you that a lot when they're up there preaching. They're like, oh, you're going to burn in hell. And, you know, God doesn't want anybody to suffer. No. And I think normal people don't either, you know. Some people do, actually. It's kind of a thing of theirs. Or they don't care either way, you know. Oh, that one's suffering. Oh, well, as long as you're good, right? Yeah, as long as you got your needs met right now, it doesn't matter if somebody else does, That type of attitude has to change on this planet. It really does. I think we can do it. I really do. If everybody had the frame of mind that they truly love their fellow human beings, this world wouldn't look like it looks right now, that's for sure. Because more people would be standing up and saying, this isn't right. I'm not putting up with this. And no, I'm not abiding by your funky laws. I refuse. And yes, it will be a fight. So, well, anyway, it's terrible. I'm laughing, but it's really nothing funny about it. I'm laughing at the oddity of it all. That I know, like that woman that stood up, and it was so easy for her to spit out that she wants to change the constitutional laws to go in accordance with something for digital currency. The word constitution shouldn't even be in there if it were like online laws or digital currency laws. Then if a person chose to use that currency, they would have to abide by those laws. But to put the word constitutional, digital constitution of human rights, what interesting words those are, you know? And all the time, they've gone against like the trials of the Nuremberg codes. They've gone against all those that they had gotten together, the United Nations, and made those for human rights. So how are they going to change them? You know, and why? I told you why. Because they want to do anything to the children without you or I in the way. That's why. If they can incapacitate adults to the point where we can't even walk out on the street and help our children, if a parent were to go to school and pick up their child, but they're no longer to do that because your child is like picked up with a bus to school and bus back home, and anything you say or do to your child could now be under the law of where you're illegal towards your child. If you even teach your child the word of God, if you teach your child that being a white male or female is nothing wrong with loving your race, whether you're white or native or black or Hispanic or European or whatever, to teach your child your culture is like some kind of a bad thing. You know, that's where they're heading with all this, is controlling you and terrorizing the children. And they are terrorizing the children, you know, trying to make them accepting of things that they don't, it doesn't correlate with their lives. It's not who they are as human beings, but that you would be forced into that situation. That's not cool at all. So I am going to be doing a little more investigating on this digital Constitution of Human Rights. I don't even like the wording of that. If you know anything more about that, and I'm sure it's all covered in their agendas, was 2020 and 2030, and now I've seen people write where it's 2021 and 2025. The original documents were 2020 and 2030, and they've already been implementing things. Another thing I have over on my Facebook, I had always told you that it was the Masons that had the vials of um, pathogens and different viruses and things that I found. There's a meme over on my Facebook that shows the first man to invent one of those things was a Mason, and it gives his name, and it was in like 1881, I believe. And that's over on my Facebook page if you're interested. But I am going to leave the link for that uh, meeting that they had. It wasn't the latest one in Davos. It was the one before that, like in 19 or 19, 2021, I think, is when they had that. So, but I'm going to leave that, and you can hear these people speak. And yeah, there's the usual suspects like Klaus Schwab, and but I want you to hear what this woman, Pippin, whatever, whatever the hell her weird name is, about 3 4 minutes in, you can hear what this thing has to say about human rights and constitutions and stuff. And don't take it lightly. They're sneaking this crap in on us. So I'm going to let you go and get this uploaded. I love you all. I appreciate you joining me. And please take this serious. I mean, it would be nice if you liked my video, gave it a thumbs up, and shared it and let people know that this is really important. This a lot of stuff I talk about is pretty important, but this one really is. It's extremely. So, anyway, thank you for being here. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.